Hi everybody and welcome back. This is a little bit different video about the building of one of the items that we have in the logistic that we are used to see all over in everyday life, and I hope you can see that well from the camera. And it is the creation in 1/24 scale of what is called like ePAL or Euro pallet, and it is probably one of the most common objects in the logistics, together with the container. So the container and the pallet is absolutely something that we see in everyday life, And the funny thing is that every time I was searching around for this stuff, also back in time, I crossed some company that was selling piece of wood with some criteria and then something not convincing, honestly, like objects, basically because they provide a kind of quite clear schema on the back on the envelope where you have the diagram on how to build it up. Today with the artificial intelligence is very comfortable because you can simply ask for the measurements of the real official Euro pallet dimensions, and in the same moment you can ask for a scaled down measurement of what you are going to build up, like I did with Gemini, and you will obtain that, for example, in 1/24 scale. That is what we are looking for. The dimensions of the Euro pallet is basically 5 centimeter per 3.4 34 millimeters, sorry, per 6 millimeter of thickness, So basically I'm working on this scaled platform, where every quarter here is 1 centimeter, and so you will have at once that the row of 5 became exactly this way, the row of 3.5 became this way, and the half of the square is exactly 0.6. So basically is in the, I think, nearly perfect scale, for the purpose. And to build it up, as I said, for the measurements you can ask Gemini to or whatever AI do you use. If you have a payment one, is even better because they are even more precise. But about this kind of countings there is no mistakes, and you can scale it down to 1/18 scale, to 1/12 scale, to 1/43 scale. If you go in a smaller scale like the 43, 64, 87 and so on, just remember that the type of wood that I'm using here, this is a wood used in a shipbuilding, it is the one used for the inner part of the hulls, where you have to give the shape to the hull of a ship, and you don't need so nice finishment wood, so you just use the ordinary quite thick one. This is 1 millimeter thickness wood that for our purpose is perfect because 3 of them in a row became 3 millimeter in scale, plus some glue, plus some, it is not of course cut in the most precise way, but give you completely the perfect thickness, which you will fill it up when you go building up your stuff with ordinary super glue. This is a sample that I have from a company, Cola 21. I think it's a copy of something coming from the UK because it's anyway Chano glue, so the ordinary super glue type of glue, and you can use very easy like a filler, because when this became dry it is stone hard and is extremely easy to sand and to fill it up or to cut with a sharp knife. To obtain the precise angle, this precise angle on the side, you probably do the easy job ever just using a mini drill with a saw head like this, with something like a sand grip head like this, just to keep it straight to the part over here. You see what I mean? And you clean it completely. Just remember that maybe download one picture of this, or take a picture if you have them in your workplace, even if these are European pallets. So I don't know if it is the same dimension that they use in America. I don't think so. And in Asia probably they have Euro pallet for the expedition that they do in the direction of Europe, but I'm not so sure that in America they have the same. And which is absolutely cool in this type of creation is that is a kind of crossword activity. Right now I'm in a position that I have to move from here, so I cannot start a new project or finish some of the project that I have in progress, so I just have to fill it up the time while I'm waiting to do my other stuff. And instead of staying in front of the computer, I preferred really to take some of this little stuff and do something manually, you know, and create something like that, because this is extremely boring to be built up, you know. Many modelers try to find something already done. There is company that were selling, I think, them completely, you know, made in this way, but it's a nonsense, you know, because I remember when I had the modeling shop in Milano, I used to sell this type of wood, not in this dimension, it was long 1.5 meter, and it costed 50 cents in euro cents, so it's 0.5 euros, and with 1.5 meter you make 10 of them. So it's a nonsense, you know, to pay something already done when you can do it by your own with a little bit fantasy, you know. And indeed, of course, it allows you, I think, when you work with 1 millimeter thickness wood strips, it allows you to work between 124 to 118, and maybe also in 112 to have an idea. If you go a little down, you have to choose every modeling shop, or if you don't have a modeling shop near you, you can find them in Amazon, you know. They are, I know the Italian name of this, but this is just ordinary wood strips for ship building, you know, for the ships made in wood, and they are very cheap, you know. It's something that really costs nothing. The positive stuff is that being a natural material, sorry, the nice stuff is that being a natural material, you can paint this or make weathering effects, or simply scratch it with a pin and ruin it a little like the real object is, which is in reality quite expensive, you know, because they I remember that this was stuff that when I was a kid we used to build up a sofa, you know. There is some people that today do the same, you know, to do little sofa in this way. You see it's perfectly 1/24 scale. It's something alternative, you know, when you want to build up something in a cheaper way, you know, and after a while it's really making you tired, because you see that it's cheap stuff, so it's not the purpose which the items was produced in the beginning, the real purpose for the item, you know. But it's anyway an idea. But the positive stuff is that being made in real wood, like the real stuff, is very very easy to make a proper painting or weathering effect. They take immediately. If you try to paint this with an oil paint and so on that is very oily, they used to suck at once the oil paint, and the part that you fill it out with the super glue will remain a little bit glossy. One little extra detail that you can do is something like use a very fine permanent marker. This is a 0.05 Faber-Castell permanent marker. You can also add the logo ePAL here in the side, because on the side brick the real original ePAL have a little cutting here, and the logo made, I think, made with fire on the side of the wood brick, with ePAL or EUR closed inside a little round ring, you know. And it's quite easy to do with a marking like this, also because it's a part that during the years becomes during the usage becomes weathered, became destroyed. So it's very very nice to do something like this. It really adds a lot of fantasy to what you are doing, and that's it for now. Then I produced, I think, 5 of them. I already made in the past, I actually made 7 of them, but 2 of them I had to give to friends, because when I see this stuff they also fall in love with this stupid thing, and being extremely boring to build up, because, you know, we are talking of 6 strips of 5 centimeter plus 3 per 34 millimeters. It's a little bit boring, you know. We're talking about 20 pieces to do something like this, plus all the briquettes, the 9 cubes, sorry, for the underpot. So it's a little bit boring to do this stuff, but when you are made with it, you simply have to make the pile of them like in the real life, let them be there this way, and just wait for a usage that you will have for this stuff. They are quite cool, I think. And as I said, very very easy, very very easy to build up with this tool. That's it, guys. I hope that this video helps you in the creation of this stuff. As I said today, the Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever you use, like artificial intelligence, can give you very very good help in the measurements of this stuff and in the tips how to make it. It's very very comfortable to have something that give you at once kind of proper information. Not always they are correct information, but very usually they are quite spotted on. So it's very very easy to do, and enjoy the building of this ordinary day life item that will add a lot of realism in any diorama or any kind of little yeah, a little diorama that you will build up with your civilian vehicles or military vehicles. It depends. And also racing car, because for example this is used to move, for example, rims, brand new rims on factory to the company. So there is, if you want to build up a garage, you can place it over an engine with chains and so on. So there is millions of ideas, like in real life, for how to use the pallet, you know. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.